Hello everyone, Scott Wohlers here. We're going to look at how we can do whole class instruction during hybrid learning today. Big shout out for John. Thank you, Mr. Costello, for letting us use your classroom today. Appreciate it. Here is a setup, here's our basic setup that we can use when we do whole class instruction. This is a camera here. This is a school issued or a district issued camera that we have, and I have it hooked up to a tripod. This is the camera that we're going to be using to record, so our students who are at home on Zoom can see what we are doing. I have a second camera set up to record this setup, so he won't have that second camera. That's just for instructional purposes. So here's the camera that the students are going to be seeing everything through. This laptop right here is my staff laptop. I have the camera that the students that we're going to be using to record ourselves for the students to see us, that is set up, hooked up to my staff laptop. From my staff laptop, I am going to control my Nearpod, I am going to control my Zoom, and I'm going to look at Dino, and really any other materials that I need to use are all going to be done on my teacher laptop. Here I have a student laptop. What I've done with my student laptop is I've hooked it up to John's projector. John actually has a smartboard situation, but we're going to hook up the student laptop to the projector that we have in the classroom. That's going to be the basic setup. Some additions that you may want to add is right now I'm just using the two laptops. I do not have any extra monitors hooked up to my teacher laptop. That you may or may not want to do that if you've already been using that and are used to it, but we can do everything from the two laptops if we need to. Next, we're going to look at how we can share our Nearpod so that everyone at home and in the classroom can see what's going on. The first thing I am going to do is start in my teacher laptop. I'm going to start in my teacher laptop. So from my teacher laptop, I am going to start the Nearpod. I'm going to share my link like I normally do, so I'm going to copy on the link, and I'm going to drop it in the chat for the students at home. Then I'm going to take this code, and I'm going to enter that in on my student laptop. So here we have the activity on the student laptop. I am logged in and participating as a student on this screen. On my teacher laptop, I am going to be running the Nearpod like I normally would as a teacher. So to recap, what I have done so far is I have taken my teacher laptop that the camera is hooked up to, and from this teacher laptop, I started my Nearpod like I would normally start my Nearpod. From my student device that is hooked up to the projector is hooked up to the student device, I have entered in the code for the Nearpod and joined that way. Also, what we see projected on the screen is what is coming from the student device. I have now switched over to the district issued camera. This is the camera that we can pick up at school. This is the camera that's on my tripod. So this right here is what the students who are on Zoom are going to be seeing. I have my camera set up. You may want to, adjust it. The closer you get, the better you can see. But also the further back you have to be seen. So you're going to want to set up your camera and test it out. This is what I can see on my teacher laptop right now. So just like I normally would on my teacher laptop, all the kids who are doing this work remotely, we can see all of their work from there. I am now projecting onto the board for the entire class that's physically with me in school to see, and the students at home on Zoom can also see me and what's going on here. So I'm going to want to spotlight myself on Zoom so my students can see this nice and big that are on Zoom. Then if I want to talk to the students and record what they're thinking as I write on the board, now through Zoom, my students will be able to see what I'm doing here. And of course, the students in the classroom are going to be able to see what I'm doing here. One thing that you may want to think about logistically is that the lower down you are on the board, it may be a little difficult for some of the students to see in the classroom because we have I have a cart up here, I have a tripod up here, so it's going to be something that you want to keep in mind. That's nothing new. We want to make sure that wherever we stand, we're not positioning things that block students' view of the board. So that's something that we would normally do anyway, but it's something that you're going to want to keep in mind.